Good morning, student. Welcome to the second lecture of unit number 4. In the last lecture, we have discussed about how to access IO devices. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about what is an interrupt. So, there are number of questions like what is an interrupt, how does an interrupt occurs, what happens when an interrupt occurs, and how does processor goes to an ISR. ISR means interrupt service routine. Then how does processor manage to come back to the previous program, and what is the role of stack in this concept? What is the role of stack in the concept of interrupt? So we are trying to attempt these all questions in this topic. So first of all, what is the difference between programmed IO and interrupt driven IO? In the previous lecture, most of the times we have used terms like memory mapped IO, program mapped IO, interrupt driven IO. Okay, so what is that? So first, why we are learning interrupt in this subject? We are learning interrupt because there is a method called interrupt driven IO, which is 100 times better than programmed IO or program input output. Okay, so in programmed IO, processor checks every device whoever wants to transfer the data and then transfer data to that device. Okay, so in this process, we are wasting the time of processor because processor checks every device whoever wants to transfer the data. Processor goes to device and asks, you want to transfer data? Then processor goes to another device and again asks, you want to transfer a data? So it is very time consuming process in programmed mapped IO. Okay, so now interrupt driven IO. Now interrupt driven IOs are better than programmed IO. So there are lots of important characteristics of interrupt. First one is that maskable and a non-maskable interrupt. Then edge triggered and label triggered, interrupt priority and pending interrupt, vectored and non-vectored interrupt, and last one is the hardware and software interrupt. So depending upon how the interrupts are originate, that's about the classification. These all 5 classifications. So first thing we need to understand is what is an interrupt. Here. Now suppose this is a program executed by a processor. Okay. Now let's consider this line means this is a program which is executed by a processor. Now, how does program executed? Program is a set of instruction. They execute randomly or sequentially. Program execute sequentially by going and incrementing program counter. Now, what is program counter? Program counter contains an address of the next instruction. So, as soon as instruction fetch, program counter is incremented by 1. Okay, that's what program goes in a sequential manner. So program counter always contains the address of next instruction, and that's the point which is extremely important. Program counter always contains address of next instruction. So your processor is doing the program. Now this is a program. This program is executed by a processor. So here processor is doing a program and suddenly some devices in the computer develops a problem. Okay, it means it needs some attention of the processor. That means it needs some serve from the processor. Okay, so it informs the processor that the destination by sending signals. What's the first thing that you understood? Processor sends interrupt or got interrupt. Processor get interrupt. So whenever any device develops a problem or whenever any device wants some attention of processor, that device sends interrupt to the processor. Okay, so who sends interrupt? Devices connected to the processor sends interrupt. Okay, so whenever any device requires a service or when it requires an attention of the processor, it sends an interrupt to the processor. Okay, now processor get this interrupt. When processor get this interrupt, it suspend the program that was going and goes to the new program called ISR, that is interrupt service routine. Okay, now here processor is executing a program. While executing program, some devices develop some problem. That devices send signal to the processor that that particular device needs some service from the processor. So whenever a processor get that interrupt from the device, processor suspend the program that was going on. That means processor will suspend this program that processor is executing. Okay, and processor goes to the ISR. Okay, now here processor is executing a program. After getting interrupt, processor is going to the ISR, that is interrupt service routine. Okay, so routine is a word for a programs. So ISR means specially written program to service and interrupt. Okay, ISR is a specially written program to service and interrupt. In simple language, interrupt is the problem and ISR is the solution. Okay, now who had the problem? Devices. Who has to do the ISR? Now processor. Okay, now the processor will not dream that processor has a problem. That is why the devices has to send an interrupt. The whole and sole purpose of the interrupt is to make a processor to execute an ISR. Okay, now what is the definition of interrupt? An interrupt is a condition that makes the processor to execute an interrupt service routine. Now processor got the interrupt, then processor goes to the ISR, that is interrupt service routine. Then processor executes the ISR and problem is solved. Okay. Now should the processor stop here? No. Okay. It has to come back to your program. Okay. Now what should it do? It should it come back to restart the program or to resume the program? Resume the program. Okay. So from some instruction or next instruction, from same instruction or next instruction, your processor will start from the next instruction. Okay, because whenever interrupt occurs, your program counter will be incremented by 1. Okay, so you cannot do the same instruction again. Okay, how can you do the same instruction again? Because your PC is incrementing. Okay, so suppose there is a program to add 10 numbers. Okay, now you added first 5 numbers. You added first 5 numbers. Now you get an interrupt. Okay, after adding first 5 numbers, now you will get an interrupt. Now after getting interrupt, you goes to the ISR. After getting interrupt, you goes to the ISR and do something over there. Okay, so when you come back, you can't add fifth number again. Okay, the total will be wrong if you add fifth number again. So you always come back to the next instruction. That means after executing ISR, when you come back to your program, you will start from the number 6 to 10. That is from the next instruction. Okay, and continue. So this is the process. This is the process of an interrupt. So the instruction gets it back to the main program called as return. Now the instruction which get back your processor to the main program called as return. Okay, so this return suggests the name return. That means return to your main program. So this is how you return to the next instruction or main program. Okay, so the interrupt gets you to the ISR, that is interrupt service routine, and return gets you back to the main program. Okay, now let's take an example, real world example how interrupt works. Let's consider a printer. Suppose you are printing. Now you want to print 100 times. Okay, you want to print 100 pages or single page 100 times. Is that printing a program? Of course, printing is a printing is a program. Printing is not the magic. Okay, so the program is executed by the processor. The printing program is executed by the processor. Now you are printing a program. What does program do? Formatting a printer will print it, but formatting is done by the processor. Okay, now suppose from 1 to 9, suppose you have to print 9 pages. Now 1 to 5 pages are being printed. Everything is going smoothly. Suddenly the page gets folded Now this is a problem. Okay. Now who has the problem? Printer has the problem. Okay. Because a printer can't print pages, or a printer will give a error message that there is no paper or paper is getting folded. Okay. Now should the printer inform it to the processor? Of course. Printer sends some signal. That signal is called as an interrupt. So printer send interrupt or signal to the processor. Now what should the processor do? Should it ignore interrupt? So what, I will continue with the program? No, you can't print. There is no point to sending data to the printer to print. Okay. So should the microprocessor continue with the sending data? No. The processor will stop sending pages to the printer. Okay. So is stopping is a solution? No. Solution is to go get the paper correct, and now who going to pop paper is processor is going who is going to put paper is processor is going to put the paper. Who had to go to put the paper? But the processor has to inform to put the paper. Okay. So have you seen there is a pop-up coming on the screen? This printer has no paper. Load paper to continue. There are two buttons, continue and abort. Okay. So displaying a rectangle, putting an image of printer with some color cross and two buttons. These buttons you have seen such type of error message number of times on your screen. So this is a program. Where is that program? Is that program apart from your printing program? No, because messages keep coming. So that is a special program called ISR, that is interrupt service routine, which will display the message that printer has out of paper. Next time you see a message, don't be in a rush to load the paper. Just hold for a second and then continue. Okay. So I know what happens. Processor has suspended the printing program. Now here processor has suspended the printing program, goes to the ISR, and it is the ISR which is displaying the message, which is displaying the error message. Now what happens? You put paper and you get continue. Okay. So now do you restart printing or do you resume printing? You resume printing. Okay. So do you print same page again? No. You go to the next page. Does the font change? No. Does the formatting change? No. The program continues as nothing happens at all. So interrupt never affects the program that works. Okay. So interrupt are used to handle expected or unexpected event. Interrupts are used to handle unexpected events. Okay. Non-predictable. When they will happen, you make an ISR and keep it ready. Whenever interrupt occurs, processor suspends whatever it is doing and go to the ISR, solve the problem and come back to the program and continue. Okay, this is how interrupt works in real world examples also. So this is about the background of interrupt, how interrupt occurs, what is an interrupt and how to solve interrupt. Okay. Now, the first basic thing that we have to learn is that when interrupt occurs, processor has to go to the ISR. Now look here. Processor has to go to the ISR. This is a branch. Whenever branch occurs, instead of going to the next instruction, we have to go to the address of branch instruction. Okay, so your this is your program goes in a sequential manner, but when interrupt occurs you have to go to the ISR apart from your program. That means there is a branch occur. Now your processor has to go to the branch address of an instruction. Okay, so the processor has to go to the ISR and this is a branch. Till now program is going sequentially. Suddenly there is a branch. Branching means changing the value of program counter. What is program counter? Program counter goes on getting incremented. Because it is goes on getting incremented, program goes in a sequential manner. So if you're changing a value of PC, you are causing a branch in a program. Okay, so the word branching means you have changed the value of program counter. You go from here to here. Now you go from here to here. You are changing a value of program counter. Okay. Now let's see. your PC will get the ISR address. Now your PC will get the interrupt service routine address. Now you have to go to the interrupt service routine, but this interrupt service routine also has some address. Okay, so your PC will get the address of ISR. So PC gives the address of next instruction. Now you want the next instruction be fetched from there. Okay, that is the processor will have to put the ISR address into the PC. Now here you are learning internal processor. So when processor gets an interrupt, it has to go to the ISR. To go to the ISR, it has to put the ISR address into program counter, and now it will go to the ISR. Okay. Now again your program counter is going on incrementing. Now we will reach here, that is return. Now coming back to your main program, we need return. Okay, so you go back to the next instruction. So while coming back, your PC will get the return address. To go to the ISR, your PC will get the ISR address, and coming back to the main program, PC will get the return address. Okay, so while going to the ISR, PC should get the ISR address. While coming back, PC should get the return address. Now think you are the processor, and do this process, you will get stuck up in one place. You started from one position and reach from first position to ninth position. So it's not a big deal. By incrementing, you naturally reached here and go from here to here. Okay. So what happened when interrupt happens? The processor, when you saw an interrupt occurs, you have seen which interrupt has occurred to know which ISR you want to go. Okay, so you will put the appropriate ISR address into the program counter. For example, there are 10 interrupts and each have different ISR address. You have seen which interrupt have occurred. You have put the appropriate address and go to the ISR. Okay, that is from here to here. Okay, now focus on this return. You can also see that there is a return. Okay, now focus on this return. What is this line says? Return, or it tells you to go back. What it is not telling you, where to return. Okay, it is not returned to this address, it just says returns. So it's like a function in C programming. To call a function, you write the name of function at the end of the function. So there is just a closing bracket. There is just a closing curly bracket. Okay, that closing bracket that gets back you to the main program, and that closing bracket is you to return, or it telling you to go back. It's not telling where to go back. Okay, you can't just write here return 2000 and go to the 2000 address. Okay, no, you can't do that because this interrupt has occurred here. This interrupt has occurred here, or it can occur anywhere. So whenever the interrupt occurs, the ISR address is the same. The address for the interrupt service routine is same for each and every interrupt. You get a call. For example, you get a call during game, or while you are playing a game, or during watching a video, or doing anything, on WhatsApp. So it does not matter. The ISR for the call, the handler for call is constant. So whenever this interrupt occurs, you have to go to the same place. This is to the ISR. Okay, fix for the interrupt. Are you getting my point? By depending upon where the interrupt has occurred, you have to return corresponding to that location. Okay, so you are on WhatsApp, you have to come back on WhatsApp. Or if you were listening a song, you come back to the song. That means return instruction mechanism cannot be rejected. Okay, so returning mechanism has to be flexible. You can, while writing the ISR, you have no idea where you have to go. So you cannot say return back to memory location 2000, 3000. You can only say return. So what is missing over here is the return address to go from here to here. Return address to go from here to here. Okay. So microprocessor has to place the return address into the program counter PC, but return address is not written here. So did you understand why return address not written here? Now, where does the processor get this return address from? Did the processor ever had return address itself? Yes. When at the time when interrupt occurred, that is program counter which holds the address of next instruction. When processor got this interrupt, processor was doing this instruction agree. Okay, but by definition, PC always contains the address of next instruction. So when this interrupt occurred, at that time, PC has the return address. Now processor has to go to the ISR. That means it has to put the ISR address into the PC. But the moment it put ISR address into program counter, it will lose its address because program counter cannot contain two address at a time. So once it lose its return address, there is no other place should be mentioned should be mentioned to place its return address. So before putting ISR into PC, the processor stores the present value of PC, which means the return address and which means the address where we have to return and which means the address of the next instruction. Okay, so processor will store this address somewhere. It store this address in the stack. Okay, so processor stores the contents of PC in a stack data structure. Okay, so go to the ISR. Microprocessor has to put the ISR address into the program counter. But before putting interrupt service routing into the program counter, processor has to push the value of program counter into the stack. That means the program counter will store the return address into the stack, and you all know what is the meaning of push and pop. Okay, these are the we use push and pop in a stack data structure. Now, what is stack and how it works in an interrupt, that we will discuss in the next lecture. Now, in today's lecture, we have discussed about what is an interrupt, what are the characteristics of interrupt, which is also called as what are the classifications of interrupt, and this classification is different upon from where interrupts are occurred. So first one is the maskable and non-maskable, edge triggered and label triggered, interrupt priority and pending interrupt, vectored and non-vectored, hardware and software interrupt. After that, we have discussed about processor developing an interrupt or processor getting an interrupt. Processor gets an interrupt. From where processor gets an interrupt? Processor gets an interrupt from a device. So whenever there is a problem develops in a device, or whenever device wants some service from a processor, that time that particular device send a signal to the processor that they need an attention of processor, and that particular signal called as an interrupt. So processor always getting an interrupt. Okay, and once processor gets an interrupt, what processor will do? Processor will suspend its current program and go to the ISR, that is interrupt service routine. Now, after executing interrupt service routine, your processor will come back to your main program. So while coming back to the main program, your processor will restart the program or resume the program. It will resume a program. Processor will never restart your program. It will resume your program. Okay. So while coming back to the main program, you need a return address. Now, how processor will get return address? Return address is already held by the program counter, because once your processor executing a program, your program counter will get incremented by 1. That means now your program counter holding a next instruction. Now your processor will store that address in a stack data structure, and now processor will get the ISR. Once the ISR address is loaded into the program counter, your processor will go to the ISR. After executing ISR, your processor will coming back to your main program by using return address, and this return address is given by the program counter. Okay, so to go to the ISR, first we need to put the ISR address into the PC, then processor will go to the ISR, and to come back to the main program, we need to put return address again into the program counter. So this is about the interrupt and characteristics of interrupt.